Flosstube, welcome to my channel, Magical Anime Stitcher. I'm Jessie. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's doing okay. I am recording this on Saturday, July 5th, here in Southeast Texas. I hope that everyone's doing all right. Unfortunately, there's some rain that has happened, and there's unfortunately a disaster happening to my west of us, and so we are hopeful that everyone that is currently unaccounted for will be found. And but it is that time of year, unfortunately, where we get these kind of heavy rains that can cause some floodings and whatnot. So hopefully everyone out there is doing okay, and we're thinking about them. But otherwise, things are okay here. It's a nice, lovely day, it looks like. I think we have some dust because my allergies are pretty up there right now. So, but otherwise, June was a stitchy good month. So, if I was about to say, the stitching was good again this month. For those of you who watch We Rate Dogs and follow them, highly recommend. If you don't follow We Rate Dogs, it's such a sweet account. It's just all about dogs and ratings and that they're all good dogs. And it always makes you happy when you see what he posts. But I worked on 5 projects. I put in 8,888 stitches over the course of 25 days. So I think that's pretty good. Now, I did also have a retreat in there where I went to Stitching Sirens, hosted by Under the Sea Fabrics, Leslie, out in San Antonio, Texas. And it was a good time. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit later. But so some of that was because I had some dedicated stitching time. Even though we all know at retreats you probably may spend more time talking than actually stitching. So I got a Coke with me today because it's a little warm and I haven't had any tea. So Coke is my caffeine. All right. So let's get going. In alphabetical order, I worked on Baba Yaga. I did that only at the retreat, but I worked on it for 2 days. And so this is what it will look like when it is complete. And I worked on it for 2 days, put in 904 stitches in those 2 days. And here we are. And that's where we currently stand. And so basically what I worked on since the last time that you saw it was I finished the green. Oops, let's flip it that way. I finished the green here, and I got all the way to the edge border, which was my goal, was to get to the edge border, and then I added that skull. So that's what I did. So yeah, 2/2 with the called for DMC on 32 count linen. This is Catacombs by BeStichedMe. Yeah, really enjoying it. This is one of my goals to finish this year, so I don't know how likely that's going to be, but it is still one of my goals. Oh, and just as a reminder, for those of you who are new to me, I don't post before and after pictures on here. If you are interested to see what it looked like at the beginning of the month versus what it looks like afterwards, please check me out on my Instagram, which is bobojessie_c. Information's in the show notes. I do post a before and after picture when I do my monthly wrap up on there. And so that is where you can see it. So I know some people like to see what that actually looks like. 124 stitches. What does that mean? So, but then you can actually take a look at that. All right. Next up, I worked on I Search for an Ancestor, and by the Laurel Witch. And I worked on this for only 2 days. One evening at the Stitch Retreat and then one evening at home. I keep not doing what I say I'm going to do, which is to do like a thread a night or something. But, it's my hobby. I can do what I want. But anyways, this is what it's going to look like when it's done. This is by the Laurel Witch again. I really like this piece. And just so that you can't read the quote, it says, I search for an ancestor who would have been considered a suffragette, a harlot, witch's mystic queen. And so I really love this piece. I have hit the part where I am working on this beast of a dress. It's going to be beautiful when it's all said and done. But in the meantime, it just takes time. So this is where it is. Pretty much what I added is the black part of the dress, the stripes down here, where there's no white. That's basically what I added. So 2 days, 447 stitches. I am stitching this 2/2 with the count, Haunted by Seraphim Hand-Dyed Fabrics. There you go. I love it. I do love this piece. I think it's gorgeous, and I can't wait for it to be done. It's just that mental block of like, oh, I gotta do all that stitching. And if you have been here before, you may recall that I had a pretty significant frogging incident. And so now I'm like really paranoid about how I count, because you do not want to frog. You don't want to frog a bunch of those stripes. So, but I believe it will get done this year. Like, I don't think it won't get done. So this is, again, one of my older whips, and it is one of my pieces that I like to get finished this year. As my theme was finish what needs to be finished. And so there's that. Even though I start new things. Don't fault me. All right. Next up is Lady Violet Witherbottom by Forbidden Fiber Co. Here you go. Just as a reminder, this is my travel piece. I take it with me only when I am on the road or have to sit around in a waiting room for some reason. So I don't do tons of it, except when, honestly, when we go to games or something. And so I worked on it for 2 days, and I put in 245 stitches. I've since stitched on it this month because I took my mom to the Department of Public Safety to renew her driver's license this week. And so there was some stitching that I did while we were waiting for our turn. But here it is. I am doing this 2/2 with all of the called for Forbidden Fabric Co. floss on 32 count linen, rose petal, also by Forbidden Fabric Co. And what I have done since you saw it, what I did in June, I should say, is I continued on with the letters. I had Lady Vi completed, and so Violet and Witherby is what I was able to add in June. Bonus if you can figure out what I did when I was sitting at the DMV office or DPS office. I think it's so cute. Like, you know, the picture is a rendition, right? Like, it's not a stitch piece. It's not a model. And I think that in person, like, the colors are so vibrant. I love it. I think they're so fun. I have a silly idea of how I want to finish it, which is basically and so I'm hoping Leanne will send me the digital file, because when she sent these on, because every month we ordered it, there was like a little piece of a gazette with the story, and so I was thinking about like doing something with that in the storyline. Okay. All right, and now we get to a finish. So those were whips. Those were things that I had already started that are brought in. So I had 3 whips. I have 1 finish. If you're been paying attention, I've been calling all of my small, if there was like an independent piece of a bigger sal, I was calling them individual pieces. But I finished Stitch for Pride 2024. So a little late, but that is okay. You got done. Now, on Instagram, I have them individually listed and with the individual stitch count and days for that, but for right now I only have the total for all of Stitch for Pride that I did in July or in June, and that was 16 days, and I put in 4,296 stitches. I did October, November, and December, and oh, I'm so bad. I do not have my notes on who inspired them, so I'm going to put a little pause on this video real quick and go get that. Okay, you didn't notice any difference, but now I have all of the things. So all of this was stitched. Oh, I don't remember the colors I stitched the threads either. So I'm obviously very prepared for today. But I did not stitch this in the sampler, so this is the whole piece. I did kind of put everything into, I had kind of intended to individually finish them because I thought they were going to be based on art pieces, and I thought, wouldn't it be fun to make like little art frames and that kind of stuff. Oh, to be young and naive. So I do have plans for how I'm going to finish this, but probably not as little individual art pieces. But first up, I did work on the October, which was based on the artwork of Edward Gorey. So there it is, right there on the end. So Edward Gorey was an American writer, costume designer, and illustrator. His he had a surrealist pen and ink drawing style that was part of the macabre and unsettled. And so I think that's really neat. I think it was the perfect piece for October. Everything was stitched on 32 count linen determination by Mislaid pages. This floss is from the Night Stalkers Calling line for I got from Christmas Advent box last year or 2 years ago. And I believe it was Krampus. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it was Krampus. All right. And then next up was November. And this one was the work by Molly Vaughn. So there it is. And Molly Vaughn was a trans artist and a senior associate professor of art who used her pieces to memorialize and document what it means to be transgender or gender nonconforming in a world that was becoming increasingly hostile. I think this is such a pretty piece. I believe it's going to be based off of her largest, based on, these are notes from D, by the way. D 20 Stitches is the designer. Her largest and current ongoing work, Project 42, combines printmaking and textiles to honor trans women who we have lost to murder and hate crimes. And so I believe that's what this is inspired by. I love it. And this is again by Night Stalkers Calling 2/2. And this one is, I believe, Cindy Lou, who, a little closer on that one. This one was a lot of fun to stitch. I really enjoyed that one. And then last but not least is December, based on the artwork by Robert Indiana. And everyone, I think, recognizes this. If you're in the U.S., you definitely do. It was on all the stamps for a long time, and I think still is. And so, but this is Love. And Robert Indiana was an American pop artist whose work has been featured on postal stamps, set stages in modern art museums across the world. Love is it started as a series of Christmas cards for the New York Museum of Art, but and then continued to be built as statues across the United States. Unfortunately, though, the popularity of it caused him to go into seclusion. I guess it was fame. Fame is not always a good thing. So anyway, so there's Love. I did this 2/2 with, this is the only one I did not do with Night Stalkers Calling. I did this with Color and Cotton, Ladybug. That's what I use for that one. So, but it is a finish. So here are all of them in their glory. Ooh. Those are sideways. It's the only way I could get them to fit. And I got a different plan on how I plan on fully finishing it. Who knows when that will be? But I do have a plan. Okay. So very excited for that finish. All of them I was a start and finish in June, so there is no before picture to look at. But yay, that was one of my goals, was this. I wanted to have that finished this year, and I did. So looking forward to more of that. Last but not least is a new start on the solstice. I started Summer Beach Day by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. Here we are. And I worked on it for 8 days, and I put in 2,996 stitches into it. And so this is everything I got done. Just like all the others in this piece, it's one of the handful of pieces I do in Aida. So I'm doing this 2/1 on 14 count Aida Splash by Picture This Plus. There is a few, there's mostly DMC, but there's a couple of weeks in here as well. There it is. So cute. So I have already stitched 3 of the pieces for the seasonal series of days of things happening in the days. And so while it is a new start, it is part of my finish what needs to be finished this year. And so that is it. Yeah. Yay. All right, so let's talk a little bit about plans, and then I'll talk about Stitching Siren and all the things I've gotten this year. So my plans for July are pretty straightforward. I didn't know what my plan was going to be in July, so apparently it is going to be some Christmas in July stitching. I surprised I didn't decide to do Summerween, but maybe I am doing a little bit of Summerween because I'm working on the Creepy Christmas Village salve that was from Little Crow Cross Stitch, I believe last year, maybe 2 years ago. And so I am working on that, and the goal is to finish those this month. Also, while, things are a little tough sometimes, but I also worked on Lady Justice. I'm planning on working on Lady Justice. But otherwise, other than those two, I think my only other plans that I'm going to have for July will be to continue working on I Search for an Ancestor and Summer Beach Party, or Summer Beach Day. That's going to be kind of my goals for July. We'll see what happens. But I will also say that there's a little part of me that felt guilty. So I ran into some folks at Stitching Siren who do watch my Flosstube, and they were like, where's Sailor Moon? You haven't worked on Sailor Moon. Some of y'all have even asked me where Sailor Moon is. And so I was thinking that maybe I need to work on some Sailor Moon squad this month. We'll see. Sailor Moon requires me kind of sitting down and being like mentally in the zone to do that because of how it's not a difficult stitch, but it's not the easiest, right? It's a lot of confetti. I'm doing it 1/1 on 25 count. You have to think about it, so, but we'll see. I have a Sailor Moon itch as well. So we'll think about doing that, but those are basically my plans. All right. So Stitching Siren. So, I love going to that retreat. If you are not, if you're looking for a destination retreat here in the United States, even if you're not in the United States, maybe you might want to travel to San Antonio. I don't know. There's maybe reasons why you don't want to travel to Texas. But it's so much fun. Under the Sea Fabrics, the entire team and the group of volunteers that put it on do such an excellent job. It's so much fun. I highly recommend it. And so let's talk about a few things that I was able to gather from them. So first, there is a Pass the Stash. And, it's pretty hard to find things in Pass the Stash, I think, but you never know what you're going to find. And so I found these two packets here. And it has included some floss and as well as some fabric. I don't know if I would use any of that, but there's a needle in here. It's like the kit was just thrown in here, I think. But first, one of them is the gold. These are gold collections, right? And so this is a samurai. So I can get a little closer. It's shiny, so it's hard to. There we go. So samurai. Sorry, crinkles. It's that time when you start showing things you get crinkles. And then this one is also the gold collection of a geisha. Now, for some of my long-term viewers, you may have a harken back to my cross-stitching story, which was how did I get into cross-stitching, which was I was walking through a Michael's with my dad, and I saw a geisha gold collection. Not this one. This one's it's close, but not this one. And I wanted to try to make it. And my dad was like, yeah, let's try something a little easier. And I got a little cat with a pink bow. And he says, if you finish that, then we'll come back and get the geisha. I did. I came back. I can't find that piece anywhere. I mean, I was around 13 or so when I stitched it. So, who knows where it is. It's been 30 years. But when I saw this, I just couldn't help myself. It made me think of that piece. This is copyrighted in 2003, so it is about 10 years after when I would have stitched my geisha. And so, but I was like, I just had this pull to it, and so we're good. So we'll see. On whether or not I will start stitching on that, but I'm glad I found it. Again, they provided a lot of stuff in it, so it's almost already kitted, so why wouldn't I start it at some point in time? But I don't want that to be my thing. So that was the first thing, right? And I'll say that, like, working like Stitching Sirens, we had like a giant table, and it was like half the table were gents in some ways. But very, you know, I only knew one of the people from last year, but everyone was so nice and so welcoming, and we had such a really good time. And you know, I may, depending on what's going on with my work situation, be able to go to the Bare Bones Retreat in January, and that would be nice to be able to go because there's not as much hoopla that happens. It's gonna be mostly just, you know, chatting with friends while you stitch, and that, you know, where you just, after the hustle and bustle of the holidays, for me, lots of year-end work. But January is usually a very busy time for me at my job, so it's going to be unlikely for me to be able to take off those 3 days. Usually in January I work every day. Like, I don't take any days off. And so it would be kind of nice to, but it would be nice if I could do it. You know what I mean? All right. So then let's talk about the swag. Lots of gifts, lots of donations. Really want to thank every designer and person who donated something to Under the Sea for this retreat. Some of this stuff is not my bag, but that's okay. You just have to, you know, I still appreciate the gifts that were given. So in no particular order, I'm just going to kind of pull everything out and show you things. So first we got a cute little bag, nice little reusable bag. Oops, you saw my name. Should have taken that off. Don't stalk me. I may actually do some editing and cover that, but so we gotta get a little usable bag. Boop, boop. So this year, instead of collecting, so the first year I was there, we collected a bunch of little baby mushrooms, and so this year the theme was stitching under the stars, and so there were little paper stars everywhere. I could not find them. Like, I couldn't find them anywhere. Thankfully, the people at my table were able to find them, and they gave me a couple of them so I could do some draws, spin the wheel, and get some get something from spinning the wheel. And so when I spun the wheel, I got a couple of little notepads, cute little notepads here. Everyone needs notepads. But one of the pattern that I got was from the Primitive Hair. So Isobel Gowdy. She was the Witch of Aldern. So apparently she is one of the more famous witches from Scotland. When they were executing the witches, the so-called witches, alleged. We know they are actually not witches. But I love this. I think this is great. I don't know if I can get the fabric from Primitive Stitches. Primitive Hair. I'm going to go take a look, though, if I can find the fabric, because I think that her designs on these printed fabrics are so cool. And so, but I really like this one, and I think I probably will stitch this one. All right, so there was that. Oh, here's my name tag where I was adding a bunch of little do's. Okay, we got some fabric from Under the Sea. So this is the fabric we got. This is called Orion. This is a 32 count linen. We got some threads from Classic Colorworks and Threadworks. So this is some Classic Colorworks thread. And then from Threadworks, I got this lovely little blue color. We also got, sorry y'all, I also got these, more threads from Night Stalker's Calling. It's like threadception, lots of packages happening here. And let me pull this out so you can see it without the cellophane. So those are those colors. Those are lovely. I like those. We got a roll of Kreinik. I'm pretty sure it's Kreinik. Yep, Kreinik. In gold. And this is a pattern I cannot show you, but it's a Stitching Sirens pattern for, according to the theme, Stitch to Stars. Oh, this is the called for fabric. Stitching. Floss. And yeah, well, look at that. Isn't that nice? All right. Then there were some other giveaways, and so this one is from October House, all in a row. Now, I will say that if anyone is interested in any of these patterns that I say that I happily would give away, please let me know in the comments, and then I will coordinate in some way. So the first one is All in a Row. This is by October House. This is not my style. It's a little bit of a sampler. I will likely not stitch this. So if anyone is interested in stitching this, just let me know. Just call it, you know, All in a Row. And I'll coordinate a way to send it to you. I don't mind sending it internationally or anything. Just know, obviously, that if it gets lost, I'm not going to buy it and replace it or anything on that lines. I don't think any of the people who watch me would be those type of folks. Then we have this, which is Mousy Strawberries from Luhu Stitches. Again, not my style. Happy to pass this along for anyone who is interested in stitching that. But it's a little cone finish type of thing. Really cute. Then this is Among the Stars, designed by the Stitching Kitten Design. I think this is cute. I don't know. I can't decide if I would stitch this or not. But if you're interested in it, just let me know. And then there was another kind of grab bag. This one, I think they must have had lots of copies because I got this one last year. It says, if I had a single flower for every time I think of you, I could walk forever in my garden. So I already have this. This is the second copy. So if anyone's interested in this one, please let me know and I'll send it on to you. This one I'm definitely stitching because I thought it was so cute. This one is from the Shakespeare Peddler, and it's antique cups and spoons. And it's teacups. Isn't that great? I love that. So yeah, I'm going to definitely stitch that. Oh, my nails are so bad. I need to redo them. But it's part of a line. I originally had gotten the scissors and I traded them for the teacups because I drink tea. But isn't that great? I love it. Definitely plan on stitching that. Right. A couple of patterns that go straight to the patterns. Then we have Stitch the Stars. This one's cute. I like that one a lot. This is by Textile Crafts. So that one's really cute. And then we got this pattern, which is Stitch the Stars by Wildflower Stitching. Get that out. Here it is. Isn't this gorgeous? I actually really like this one. I am planning on stitching this. And the quote says, I have loved the stars to truly be fearful of the night. And I really love that. I think it's such a beautiful thing. And so I went ahead and purchased the thread pack for it. And so I'm pretty sure I will probably have some kind of fabric here at home that I'll be able to use. But it's Blackberry Raspberry Jam by the Gentle Arts. And then Krynic is the thread pack for it. So I'm looking forward to stitching this one, obviously, since I bought the thread pack for it. Then we got a series of patterns, one from Bella Filipina. There's some I cannot show you because there isn't a finished picture for it. But we got this, I mean, it's like a packet, it's a packet of patterns. This one I wish I could show you, but there isn't a model stitch, but it's by Pixel Pixie Cross Stitch, and it's the Odyssey. It looks really cool. And when I showed it to my husband, he's like, please stitch that. So because we're kind of into Greek things right now. And of course, Christopher Nolan's Odyssey is currently in production. And so, we might actually do that. And then this one I can show you, December Stitches. And it says, you will always be enchanting, a little mermaid. Isn't that cute? This is a Christmas Sparkle, also from December Stitches. Sorry, I'm flipping through to get to each of the patterns. I mean, it's a huge packet. Oh, from the Witchy Stitcher, this one's really cute. Moonlight Familiar. Isn't that lovely? I like that one a lot. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And then I think this is the last one. It's the last one. So this is American Stars from Maria Teresa Vitali Designs. Come on, focus. There it goes. So thank you so much to the generosity of all of these donors for all the patterns and the supplies. It really is very nice. I'm really very appreciative of it. And so the other thing that we did in this, I'm sorry, one more thing. We got a little canister for stitching the sirens, and in it we got a counting pins, which are stars. Oh, we'll do it. And then a little star charm. This one I thought was so funny. So we pull it out and we're like, oh, this is a weird little thing. It's an alien. It's supposed to sit like that, like a little alien. Isn't that cute? So we had that. So that was, it's nice little storage, but I use a little tin like this for my orts next to my desk. All right. And then we got a little duck. This one glows in the dark, but I was number 33 for door prizes. All right. Oop, hold on. Oh, I did something. Hold on. What did I just do? Uh-oh. All right. Oh, everything's okay. All right. We're going to pause for a second while I reorient to myself what's going on here. All right. Whew. You didn't see anything there, but I don't know what happened. I clicked a button and my screen went away and anyways, you don't know what happened. It's got fixed. All right. The other thing that they do at Stitching Siren, which I watched for the first time last year because I thought the reading the instructions was a little overwhelming. But once I saw it in action, I saw how it worked, I was like, okay, I can do that. Now, to be fair, I spent like 2 months planning it. And I'm really kind of sad I didn't record my own video of what I put in my bag. But I was pretty proud of it. But I was also very nervous that the person who got it wouldn't like it. But it ended up being a person at my table. So I was able to watch it happen as thankfully, unless she was just being really kind. It seemed like she did like the bag that I put together. So I thought that was really, really lovely. And so I picked my bag, and wouldn't you know it, hilariously, like, right, you hope to meet somebody new, but I did not meet somebody new. Somebody I already knew virtually anyways. I picked this bag, which is Have a Magical Day, and it ended up being from Shan from Fandom Stitching. And so I thought that, isn't that fun? Now, we had 12 items plus 13, and they were all themed. And just to let you know what the theme of the bags were, like, you were supposed to get 12 items. It's 13 in total, but because the last thing is a card saying who you are. But it's your favorite stitching accessory, favorite thread or fiber, a stitching embellishment, something froggy, something that can be worn, something in your favorite color, something stars themed, something mermaid or beach theme, something moon theme, something floral, something silver, something gold. I only have 10 things in the bag, which means 2 of these things I put away and I don't remember what they were. So sorry. My apologies. I don't remember which one was which ones. Some of them I think I can figure out, but yeah. So first up, we have DMC E940, which I understand is a glow-in-the-dark floss. So yay, so we got some floss. I got some fiber from Fabric from Singing in the Rain by Yummy Fiberlicious. Take a look at that. Isn't that lovely? I think it's lovely. We got some wood stars. 4 of them. We got this, I guess, a head massager. So it looks like from the side. I guess when you shampoo, you can just like scrub it on. And that's just paper. I got some of this Madeira floss. I've never used this, so interesting to try something new. Then we got a mini stash and store. I love these. I already have like 3 of them around my house. I think they're great. Like, these are great. I'll find a place to stick them. And then I got some scissors. DMC scissors. We got another pattern from Autumn Lane Stitchery, so a mermaid. This one's called Ocean Serenade. I love Autumn Lane patterns. I typically tend to gravitate towards their witchies and their Halloween ones, but I think this is really very pretty. And so there's that. A full kit of this bouquet from DMC. And then we got this little thing. We got this engraved wood. We think it's a stand. My husband actually Googled, so obviously it goes in this way. We weren't sure what the holes were, but he Googled something and he found that like you may be able to put things into that, I guess. But I think it's just like a stand, like a little stand you can put your stuff on. So yeah, so it was fun. It was fun to open all these boxes, and I want to thank Shan for all of the items that I was able to receive, and I can't wait to use some of them or stitch it. So, but yeah, so that was really a lot of fun. So if you are thinking about coming to Stitching Siren, you haven't been, and that you don't have to do it. Like, they also have regular smalls exchange. I did not do the smalls exchange. I didn't have time to stitch anything, so that's that. But it's the, but it can't, that whole box thing, when I read it the first time, really was very overwhelming. But once I actually started thinking about like what it was going to be and things along that lines, I built my box around a pattern, and so I picked the pattern, and then I kind of went through and figuring out what I would do with that, because although some things were unrelated like to the pattern, my goal was to actually in the 12 items give the person everything they needed to be able to stitch it and finish it, with the exception of the DMC floss that was called for in that pattern. And then there was just like some other little things that I thought would be fun to have. So yeah, all right, now we're ready for the things that I purchased. So many things, I'm telling you, this was a unusual kind of thing. So first up, last year we got as a gift a where'd it go? Yeah, we got as a gift one of the first two. So this is the one I got of the Whisper of the Woods series by Autumn Familiar. So this is what I got as a free gift, and then we were able to purchase the other one, and so the other one was number 1. Sorry, I can't get these out of my package real quickly. So earlier this year we were able to purchase 3 and 4. So this was 3 acorn, and 4 is a mole, which is pretty cute. So I purchased this earlier in the year, full kit, and then at Stitching Sirens, 5 and 6 had been released, so I purchased 5 and 6. So we got a toad. Isn't that cute? What a cute little toad. And then snails. I did purchase the accompanying fabric, which I don't have with me here, but it was Leshi? And so I have those as well. So full set, because I'm a completionist. You can't stitch something and not finish it, right? So there's that. Then I purchased some needles. So I went ahead and got these pony needles. And I had purchased them before with the white tip. This one's green, and it's size 26. I like stitching with these. Eventually that coating does seem to wear off a little bit on the white ones anyways, and it makes it a little bit difficult to thread. But as a general rule, I really like using these needles. So I went and got some more of those. And then I got a bunch of Lady Dot Crate pom-poms, because why not? Don't you need some pom-poms? And so I got these mostly in kind of Halloween-esque colors, because why not? So first up is Jack, this nice orange color. And I got Witchy, kind of mossy green color. This one's called Mother Load. But I think of it as a nice yellow color. There you go. And then licorice, because you can never have too many black pom-poms, right? So because of things that I stitch. So we'll get some black pom-poms. So really, so basically, just to have some things on hand that I stitched so much Halloween that I figured that at some point in time, these will complement something I'm making. So I wasn't particularly worried about buying things sight unseen, so to speak. And then I got a few patterns. Actually just 2 patterns from the frog stitching. So there was several trunk shows available for us to peruse and see things. So Fine Frog Stitching was one of the trunk shows. And I just couldn't help myself. Look at this goose. Strawberry Goose Witch. In person, it's adorable when it's stitched up. But it's adorable now. Look at it. Like she's got this orb of strawberry in front of her. Have I ever stitched this kind of thing before? No. Am I going to stitch this one? Yeah. Yeah. Look at this. How can you not? How can you not stitch that, right? And then I also got the Crow Librarian. Look at that. Isn't that adorable? Yeah. So I'm stitching this for my husband to put in our library. So my home office is in my quilt stage, in my quilt studio, and his home office is in our library. And so we have a wall-to-wall bookcases of books. And so I'm going to stitch this for his library. But yeah, so that's it. That's everything that I purchased and everything that I got. I'm going to stick at the very end a little short 30-second video of me walking quickly through the brag table that you will see what people were able to finish. But that's pretty much it. 41 minutes. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. All information is going to be in the notes accompanying the video. As always, I'm really so appreciative of everyone who spends time with me. And so thank you so much. Stay around for the brag video at the very end. And, so we're going to finish off in honor of Stitching Sirens Stitching Under the Stars theme. My joke for today is, why did the star get arrested? Because it was a shooting star. All right, wherever you are, I hope you are having a stitchy good time, and we'll see you next month. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.